Hi there. Grab a cuppa, take a seat, come and meet your health coach. Brought to you by vitalhealthcoaches.com. Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Claire Sharpen, and today I am delighted to welcome Sarah Curgenven to the episode. Sarah, welcome. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Claire. It's lovely to be here. Thanks so much for asking me.
Could you start just by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So I'm Sarah. I live on the edge of the South Downs in Sussex. I have a dog called Rufty, who's coming up to be 5. I am a Pilates teacher. I work part-time for the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy, supporting campaign work there to improve standards of rehabilitation for everybody. I sit on the board at Active Sussex as a non-exec director, supporting local communities to be more active. I volunteer at Wakehurst, which is a gardens on dementia-friendly walks, and work with people living with dementia and Alzheimer's. And I am a newly qualified health coach as well. So have added that to the bag, and that's what I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about today, and the many offerings that I have as a result of my experience.
Brilliant. It sounds like you've got loads of things going on. You're busy. So, could you tell us a bit more about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a really, really fun and winding path to lead me here to you today. I started my career at breast cancer charity within an events team, and we put on incredible challenges for people to come together and take part in whilst they were going through real change in their lives, whether they'd received a diagnosis themselves or were supporting somebody that had recently received a diagnosis or going through treatment, or that they had lost to the disease, to go through really tough, traumatic times for them in a fun, engaging and challenging way. So we put on some really incredible events there. I was lucky to take groups overseas, cycling across India, Cuba, Kenya, walking up Ben Nevis, and using activity as a means to bring people together and challenge themselves physically and mentally, and see how the power of connection and sharing can help them move forward through tricky times. So that's where it all started. I mentioned a bit of a cycling theme there with getting engaged in events that we did overseas. I moved from there to work at Transport for London, which I was in the behaviour change team there, working in active travel, finding ways to support people to walk and cycle more around the city. And there we used events as a means to inspire people to participate more in cycling. So my main role there was to lead the tender process for Ride London, which is a mass participation event with about 100,000 people were taking part in the end. And my role there was to ensure there was a really strong community element in that, making sure that people could come along and enjoy the streets car free and take part in enjoying being active on the street. And from then, I had really sort of honed my behaviour change skills and loved delivering sort of mass participation events, but really wanted to deliver more personalised support. So I trained as a Pilates teacher at that point. Was really lucky that during that I was offered a role at the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy to lead a project funded by Sport England, which was about strengthening activity. Whilst physical activity has been a main area for me, learning more around health coaching and the other lifestyle factors that are involved, and how that all blends together and builds that holistic picture, and each support each other as more you layer on, has really inspired me, actually. So that's kind of my journey, wiggling around quite a lot of how I've got to this point now.
So I can really see how you're so passionate about physical activity, and the common thread through all of that is being active and physical activity. If I was sitting here listening to you, perhaps with a long-term health condition of some sort or another, perhaps struggling to exercise myself or to build movement in. What would you say to me about the importance of physical activity and the importance of building strength? Does it actually really make any difference?
Yeah, so I suppose I would start with saying that some is better than none. There has been a lot of insight around people living with long-term conditions through Sport England, actually, with the development of a brilliant campaign called We Are Undefeatable that speaks to symptoms rather than conditions. And that kind of plays on the comorbidity part that I've just shared with you now. So it is trying to make physical activity fun.
Mm.
There's a brilliant book called Exercised by Dr. Daniel Lieberman, and he talks about how crazy we have become with the exercise message, how intimidating that can be for certain groups of people, and how that can limit them to know how to get started at all. And I am totally fascinated by this mismatch that we have of our environments comforting us and holding us warm and in seats all the time and
Mm.
cushioning us and ensuring that we're cozy, to our body's need to move more and put itself in different positions and use the joints range that we have, you know. I was having a chat with my brother the other day and I said, when was the last time you put your hand above your head and like swung your arm around? It was like, oh yeah, good point. Gosh, I haven't done that for a while. And when you do it, and when I do it,
Yeah.
everything just crunches, right? But even just
Mm.
doing that one simple movement is slightly lifting me and just wanting to
Feel like I
make
need
me
to join
smile. I
in.
think you need to join in. um, so yes, I think some is better than none is the message. I think I've gone around about a little bit with that answer, but start small. Start with what you feel comfortable with. You don't need any special equipment. You don't need any special gear. All you need is a little bit of focus on what makes you feel good. Focus on what makes you smile. Build upon that. So if having a dance around the kitchen whilst the kettle's boiling makes you happy and you want to continue doing it, go for that. If doing a squat challenge of an increased squat every day is really powering on you, do that. If moving together with other people, you know that that connection really helps you, then look for opportunities where you can do that. So I really encourage people to acknowledge that what they're feeling is very normal. Try
Mm.
and be kind with those feelings and know that there will be moments and there will be days where you really feel like doing it and days when you really won't. One of the biggest barriers to doing more activity that we found within the insights work that I've done over the years is that symptoms vary day to day, right? You could be presenting with real breathlessness one day if if focused on living with lung conditions. You could be really your symptoms could be heightened by the environment and the things that are happening around you that day, and you could just not feel like doing anything. But the next day, everything might have changed. The climate might be different. The air around you will be different. You know, how much sleep you've had the night before, what you fueled your body with the day before, what conversations you've had with other people, and you could be more motivated to do it. So be kind in knowing that and work with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So the importance of strengthening, I think, was the second part of your question.
Yeah.
The importance of strengthening. Well, as we age, we lose muscle mass, men and women. It starts to incrementally increase as we reach about 30. And there is nothing more important that you can do than strengthening your muscles as you age to help keep bone density. Muscle loss is a technical term for it is sarcopenia. Sarco is Greek for muscle, penia, Greek is loss. And
Mm.
the more muscle you lose, the more inactive you are, and it becomes a negative cycle. So you want to jump out of that cycle and power your body up so that you are able to do more as a result of it. Benefits to moving more are mental as well as physical. You're building that muscular strength to help prevent you from experiencing other potentially experiencing other conditions, but also feeling good mentally and more confident to go and do more during your day.
Yeah. Again, if I was a person experiencing chronic symptoms of whatever sort, not wanting to go to a gym and feeling intimidated by the thought of building muscle, how could I at home start to make progress on building muscle? What tips could you give anyone who's in that position?
Great. So there are many resources out there available online, many really brilliant campaigns and resources that are there for specific conditions and symptoms that you might be showing and living with. I mentioned the We Are Undefeatable campaign earlier. That's a really great place to go to and start. It's all free. If that's not quite working for you, I would encourage you to set a little timer for every 15 minutes to do a little movement break. So a really great thing that I try and remember here is going back to nursery rhymes and head, shoulders, knees and toes. Think head, shoulders, knees and toes. Think, what can I do with my neck? How can I move that? How can I just find the ranges that it wants to explore and start moving there? My shoulders, how can I start to move them up and down, round and round, moving them forwards, moving them back? Already my spine wants to move in lateral flexion, inflection, extension. It wants to twist as well. So just enjoy that. You don't need to be a Pilates teacher to do these. Your legs, think about your joints, think about your hips, think about rolling your thigh bones round in your hip socket, swinging your knees and rolling your ankles. That might just be enough to then boost you to do a little bit more. So if you're feeling good to do a bit more, perhaps go to sit on your sofa and then stand up straight away again. The sit to stand test is the one that is used in how we measure strength as we age. That's what you may have experienced if you're going to the GP, and they will use that and grip strength. So grip strength is a good indicator of how well our bodies are performing. So sit to stands, go and sit on your seat, go and stand up again, raise up onto your tiptoes and lower back down again. Give yourself a shake out, put a good piece of music on, something that lifts your spirits, and just move around the room a bit. Gently, gently. And that does sound very basic, but if you are really, really struggling to just find the momentum and that real boost to want to move more, then that might just be enough to get your body and mind in that frame of mind to go and push yourself a bit more.
Yeah, great. Thank you. For our listeners who can't see Sarah, I just want to say that she is standing up and demonstrating all of this. So I've benefited from that. But if you're just listening, sorry, you've missed that. Great. You definitely walk the talk, that's for sure. So can you tell us a bit about your approach to coaching and how you work with people? You're obviously really passionate about movement and helping people to get moving. So what does that look like in terms of you coaching people?
Yeah, I've integrated the movement part and the success of working in a group to a coaching offering. That includes knowing that group cohesion is a real thing. I think we are 65% more likely to stick to a habit or a goal that we have set ourselves if we are accountable to others around us. I offer a program of 10 weeks with 8 coaching sessions during that period, with no more than 4 in a group, as well as 8 Pilates classes weekly to accompany those sessions where everyone is invited. The point there is to ensure that everybody is moving together, whatever level they're at, whatever experience they have within Pilates, that we're joined together in committing ourselves to moving our body in gentle and new ways, and that the individual goals that people come to me with are focused on during the coaching sessions. So there's an opportunity for people to move together in groups on those Pilates classes in a Zoom room. No matter what experience you've got, we move in a gentle and supportive way. And then the coaching sessions offer the opportunity for people to come with their personalized goals and move forward through a program with me to make sure that they reach them. They are themed around building stronger bones. So people that know the importance of strengthening activity, perhaps they're living with osteoporosis, they've recently had a diagnosis that limits them to move in the way that they're used to, and they want to explore new ways and build new habits around that. Or working with people that want to lose weight. And a lot of people that I have coached in the past have been really successful in doing that by balancing their sugar. So if you want to balance your sugar, if you find it hard to get through the afternoon without reaching that sweet treat, then that's a kind of a theme and an element that would work for you. And then finally, working with people that perhaps want to kind of, I've called it clear the chatter. So have an overwhelming amount of thoughts that are racing through their brain that are preventing them to see clarity and vision forwards. And I find that the combination of the movement part of things, learning a little bit more about how to breathe correctly and how that can support you, and learning how to put in little tips during your day can support each of those three themes.
Yeah. So that's really interesting that actually in incorporating the health coaching, you're kind of movement plus, aren't you?
Yes.
If you like, there's a lot of focus on movement, but actually other things as well that seem to help general well-being.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the movement, the connection, and the community that is just a powerful tripod that really enables people to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds great. Can you tell us just a bit more about some of the benefits that people you've coached have found of having this kind of coaching in groups rather than a one-to-one setting?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the accountability that they have to each other, and a lot of people come to the groups starting to ask each other questions. And how did you get on with that last week? And oh, I found that really helped me. And that shared experience, that knowledge and understanding that everybody's in it together whilst you're working towards your individual goal really, really helps. And it's lifting, a group dynamic where somebody might be having a not so great day and they come and they see others in potentially similar feelings to them. It's comforting, reassuring, but also it works so well because it's a safe environment. Everything is confidential within the Zoom room walls, and it's an opportunity to connect.
Great. What is it that you offer to people specifically as a health coach?
Okay, so sure. So as I've touched on, it's built around that group element, and I offer 10-week courses built around those three main themes, which are build strong bones, balance your sugar, and clear the chatter. The next is starting on the 1st of
2025.
April.
Yeah.
2025, yes, 2025. So it's 10 weeks starting on the 1st of April on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and no more than 4 in a group. So 8 coaching sessions during that 10-week period and 8 Pilates classes, which are also available on record if you weren't able to join for one of them for the week. Personalized support from me. These courses are built on, evidence-based behavior change framework. They're built on a real experience and tried and tested knowledge of other people doing them and knowing that they've seen the results that they wanted to. And a caring, friendly, supportive, slightly challenging ear that comes with working with me.
Great. So where can people find you to find out more?
So I have a profile on vitalhealthcoaches.com. You can find all my details on there and a little bit more about my programs.
Great. Okay. And then I've got just a couple more questions for you. So one is, what 3 things would you suggest that we could do today to make us feel that little bit happier?
So building happier habits is what I'm all about, and keeping it simple, I think, is great. So the 3 things that you could do today are the head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Setting yourself that little reminder, perhaps every 15 minutes, to just move each part of your body, working through head, neck, shoulders, arms, spine, waist, hips, knees, and toes. Great place to start. The second thing that I would recommend for everyone to do is cut out processed foods. Learn a little bit more. Go and find out through the many brilliant health coaches that there are on vitalhealthcoaches.com and explore who might work well with you to help you learn a little bit more about how you can fuel your body well with the right nutrients. So go and do that today. Then the third thing that I would recommend is 7 hours sleep. Prioritizing sleep. I think there's lots of debates around how long is good for everybody, but a good place to start with that is just to have a little think about how important it is for you during your day and how you prioritize the routine around getting to bed.
Great. Sounds good to me. One last thing to think about. Health coaching is quite new in the UK. People are quite unfamiliar with what a health coach is, what a health coach does. People are quite unfamiliar in the UK with what a health coach is, what a health coach does. What's your take on what a health coach is?
Everyone is capable and everyone has the drive and will within them to look after themselves well. And it might be hidden very, very deep. It might have been layered on by prioritizing other people, prioritizing other activities, but it's there within us all. The role of a health coach is to ease that out and to show people that it's not difficult to make a change. It's challenging and it can be hard work, but I'd say it's possible for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been a real pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. And I feel like after this, I need to go away and do some more movement. It's been really challenging. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Claire. It's been really lovely to speak to you today.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode. For more on how a health coach can support you in your health journey, please go to vitalhealthcoaches.com.